We're very excited to be here with head coach Dave Flint of the women's hockey team. I'm Rob Taylor, and looking forward to seeing another exciting season of women's hockey. So, Coach Flint last year built a lot of momentum as the year went along. How do you plan on building off that going into this season?
You know, we got to take that success we had last year and hopefully carry it over this year with this squad. They got a taste last year of what it's like to be in a championship game, to be in a big game. Obviously, they were disappointed that they lost, and I think that makes them more hungry coming into this year, knowing what they can accomplish. We have a good group of freshmen coming in that we feel can make an impact. And you know, for me, this is my 4th year here. This is probably our best team on paper. So if we stay healthy and you know, we keep heading in the direction that we started or from last year, then I think we're gonna have a pretty good year.
You say the best team on paper. I know that's reflected in your ranking this season. You have the Hockey East put you at number 3. How do you think the team's ready to live up to those expectations?
You know, I think they're embracing that. You know, my first few years when those rankings came out and they were kind of down in the dumps when it comes out and they see 6th or 5th, and they know they're better than that. And now they're getting the recognition that they think they deserve. But you know, now you gotta prove it. You know, you gotta prove that we deserve that ranking, and you know, I think we're ready for that.
You've got a very young team this year. A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. Those seniors, how are you planning on leaning on them to drive this team forward?
You know, the seniors have been with me for 4 years now, so they know what I expect and how I like things done. And you know, I think our leadership this year is the best it's been in a while. So, and they're going to be tested as a class to you know, do all the right things for the freshmen and set the right example. And you know, it started out, I think, right away with our testing and the shape that the team came in with our strength testing, and you know, our team put up their best numbers since I've been here. So I think all that's going to carry over, and I think we have some really good, strong leadership, and I think that's going to translate with the freshmen and sophomores.
You say the strength testing was better this year. It seemed like you really flexed your muscles against Ottawa. What are you really taking away from that game?
You know, I just wanted to see them compete. I wasn't too concerned with systems or any of that stuff. You know, I wanted to see them go out and play hard and show me what they have. And after the first period, when they got the nerves out and the jitters, they started to play. And so we're going to build off that these next 2 weeks before we open up with Syracuse. We're putting in a lot of systems and now trying to fine tune some stuff. What?
People familiar with the system, some of them, Brittany Esposito, Kelly Wallace,
yeah,
both injured at the end of last year. How do you plan on incorporating them back in and getting their feet under them?
You know, sometimes the best thing is to watch, and unfortunately they didn't want to be in the stands last year, but watching you learn a lot. And I think the two of them actually learned a lot by sitting up there and watching, and I think they might understand it more now than they did, you know, at the beginning of last year.
The freshmen, you're trying to incorporate them, you've got a lot of them. How are they meshing as a unit right now with the rest of your team?
I think they get along great. You know, we have a really close-knit team. Some of them are picking things up quicker than the others. For a lot of freshmen, college in itself can be overwhelming, and you know, now you throw hockey into it and the new team and systems and expectations. So I think they're doing a good job with it, but there's going to be some growing pains with it.
One of the players, freshman coming in, that has a lot of expectations on her is Kendall Coyne. How does she look with the team? How's she getting to know the Huskies?
She's somebody that's going to make everybody around her better. If you watch her in practice and in games, and her work ethic is second to none. Sometimes we've got to reel her in a little bit, and it's going to rub off on a lot of other players. And you know, they see that the level she plays at, and even with the national team, you know, what she does to get there, to get her ability there. So I think a lot of the players are going to look and say, "Wow, you know, I thought I was working hard, but this is what working hard is," and I think it's going to make everybody better.
Your team's always been deep. You've had scoring come from generally across all 3 lines. Lots of players with double digits. How are you able to have that sort of equal distribution out on the ice?
I think, you know, we haven't had any real big superstars, and we've kind of relied on everybody. And to be successful, everybody's got to chip in. So, one night it might be Katie McSorley, the next night it might be Rachel Lannis, the next night it might be, Brittany Esposito. So for all of them to contribute, that's what we need to be successful. And, you look at, there's some teams around the country, they rely on one line. It's nice to be able to rely on, 2, 3. Even this year, I think we can rely on 4 lines.
You mentioned being able to rely on 4 lines. The depth of this team seems to be much greater than we've seen in the past. I know even Sienna Felino is someone that we don't even know what her role will be. How are you planning on rolling 4 lines out and making sure you use all of your players?
Yeah, I think the nice thing is we have the depth. I haven't had this depth since I've been here, so it's nice to go into a third period and be able to roll 4 lines if you're up and wear teams down. And my first year here, it was like we had 2 lines, and it was like hold on in the third period and hope we have enough in the tank. So, I think if we roll 4 lines in certain situations and we go hard and we play the way I want us to play, I think we're going to win games just by wearing teams down.
And with that balanced attack, it seems you might be able to take off some pressure from Florence Schelling. What are your expectations for her in this? It's her last season.
Expectations are always high with her. She's been our backbone for the last 3 years, and sometimes your team's only as good as your goalie. And she's won a lot of games for us in the last 3 years, and this year, hopefully we don't have to count on her as much as we maybe have had to in the last 3 years. So, but at the end of the year, when it's all on the line, it's the hot goalie that usually wins you some games, and that's what happened last year, where she got hot at the right time, and we won some big games. So, I'm expecting a lot out of her, and we have some pretty good goalies that are underneath her. So if she needs some help, she struggles at all, we have the goaltending that I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, and you mentioned that depth. We know Chloe Desjardins is coming into the system. She even started the exhibition game.
Yep.
What are your expectations for her?
I think Chloe's a great goalie, and it's nice to have a year for her to get her feet under her and to learn from a goalie like Florence and prepare her. I think she's going to be a great college goalie. She's had success with, in Quebec where she played, and with Team Quebec, and I think she's got a future with Hockey Canada, and I expect big things out of her in the future.
You mentioned Hockey Canada. You're drawing a lot of athletes from all over the world. How is Northeastern's global appeal really growing with you guys?
Well, Northeastern academically has grown so much just in the 4 years that I've been here, and it's really become so popular. And I think my first year here, I would make recruiting calls, and some of those kids never heard of Northeastern, and now they know about Northeastern. And also we have a very diverse campus, which I think attracts a lot of those kids, so they feel like they fit in. And that's a big part of the college experience. If you go to a school and there's no other international students there, it's really tough for them to find an identity, and I think they have that here. I know Florence has made a ton of friends outside of hockey in the international community on campus, and so I think that's a real attractive selling point to these kids.
You're in one of the top hockey conferences in the country. You've got BC and BU both being in the Final Four last year. Does that help drive your team, having such stiff competition on nearly a weekly basis?
Yeah, it's exciting every night. Our league is so tough. You can't take a night off. 10 years ago, there were give-me games on everybody's schedule. Now there aren't. You have to show up every night. And at the end of last season, I think Maine beat BU, they beat BC to get in the playoffs over UNH. Anybody can beat anybody, and that's the exciting thing. And BU and BC are obviously the two powers, but we're right on their heels. And if I had it my way, teams are going to be looking at us like that in a couple of years.
To wrap it up, strong conference, but you got a strong team. How far do you think you guys can go?
I think the sky's the limit. At the beginning of last year, if you told me we were going to make it to the Hockey's finals, I don't know if I'd agree, and we did. And we're getting better every year, and my goal this year is to make it to the NCAAs. It'd be nice to get there for the first time for this program, for the girls that work hard, and everything that they put into it. So that's my goal for this year.
No, we'd all be thrilled to see it. So thank you very much for talking with us, and looking forward to seeing you guys out in the ice.
Thank you.